Okay, so welcome back, and now we're going to do some examples of subtraction. And again, the steps for subtraction are very similar to the steps that we did with addition. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to estimate, right? So we're going to estimate these numbers and see what we get with the difference. So if we round these to the nearest 10, we get 50 minus 20, which equals 30. So we know our answer should be close to 30. And so now I'm going to set this up as in vertical, right? So I'm going to take 47, I'm going to line up the ones digit, right? So 47 minus 23. And so now again, just like I showed before, you can subtract left to right. So how do I do this? Well, I'm just going to subtract the tens and then subtract the ones. So if I subtract the tens column, I get what? 2. If I subtract the ones column, I get 4. And so the difference is 24. Now in this case here, either way, I can subtract right to left or left to right. I get the same answer, okay? And so the difference between the two numbers is 24, okay? Which again, if you check it with the estimate, it's pretty close. Okay, now what about this one? Now here, I'm going to estimate. So here, this is going to give me what? 60 minus 40, which equals 20. So I know my estimate should be close to 20. And so now I'm going to set it up vertically, right? So I'm going to set this up as 64 minus 37. And again, I'm careful to line up the ones digits, okay? And then just make sure all of the digits, when you're writing these down, go into nice columns, okay? Organization is key. You don't want to be sloppy because you're liable to make a mistake, okay? Now, in this case here, now, I'm going to show you two ways. I'm going to show you right to left, and then I'm going to show you left to right and show you how I do it, okay? So now, if I start with the ones column, now here's the thing. If I look at the ones, this says 4 minus 7. Well, I can't subtract 7 from 4. I don't have enough. So I'm going to have to borrow. So where do I borrow from? I'm going to borrow from the tens column. So I'm going to borrow from here. So I'm going to borrow from the 6. So I'm going to take 10. Basically, in effect, I'm taking 10 from the tens column when I do this. So this is going to become 5. And now I'm going to take 10, I'm going to stick it on the 4, so now my 4 becomes 14, and now I can go ahead and subtract 7 now. Okay, see how that works? So now I'm going to take 14 minus 7, which gives me 7, and now I go to the tens column, and now I'm going to do 5 minus 3, which is 2. And so 64 minus 37 is 27. Yep, 27. Okay. Now, what about the other way? Let's do it left to right. Now, what if I do it left to right? Now, here's the way I do it, because again, it's easier to do it in your head with practice. So if I start with the tens column, like I'm reading a book, I just do this like I'm reading a book. If I start with the tens column, I just subtract the tens. Well, I take 60 minus 30, right? So 6 minus 3 is 3. So I put a 3 here. But then again, if I go to the ones column, well, now I can't subtract, right? For the same reason, I can't subtract 7 from 4. So now I'm going to borrow. But guess where I'm going to borrow from? I'm not going to borrow from the 6. I'm going to borrow from down here, my answer. So now the 3 becomes a 2, and I put 10 over here by the 4, which makes it 14. And then I take 14 minus 7, which is 7. I get the same answer. Okay? So either way, or if you want to do the scratch, if you want to do this way, you can do the scratch method. So if you leave the 3 here and then you borrow here, then this becomes 2. Okay, and you get 27. Okay. But the reason why I like doing it this way is because you can always do this in your head and then keep the rolling total in your mind. Okay, but again, whichever you're more comfortable with, I'm fine with too. Okay, and so the difference between these two is 27. Okay, see you next time.